Have you ever felt like you're wandering through life without a clear direction? Like no matter how hard you work, something inside still feels empty or out of place? Maybe you wake up every morning, head to your job or your daily responsibilities, and wonder if this is all there is. You're not alone. So many people today feel lost in the middle of busyness, caught up in the routine, and unsure if their work truly matters. It's as if they are running on a treadmill, putting in effort but going nowhere. If that's you, if you have ever questioned the purpose of your work or the meaning of your life, then listen closely. What I'm about to share can change the way you see your job, your role, and your value forever. Because work is not just about making a living or earning a paycheck. It is about something far deeper, something eternal. It's about discovering the calling God has placed on your life and finding purpose in the everyday tasks that shape your world. This message is for everyone who feels stuck or overlooked. It's a reminder that your work, no matter how ordinary it seems, can be powerful and significant when you understand it through God's eyes. Let's explore this truth together and see how it can transform your life. Before sin ever entered the world, before pain, sorrow, or brokenness, there was work. In the beginning, when the heavens and the earth were still fresh with the breath of the Creator, mankind was given a task. God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. This was not a punishment. It was not a burden. It was a divine privilege. Work, in its original form, was holy. It was part of God's perfect design. Yet today, many walk through life burdened by their jobs, feeling as though their labor is meaningless or disconnected from their purpose. But what if the problem isn't with the work itself? What if the problem is how we see it? Many have come to believe that work is a necessary evil, a result of the curse in Genesis. But that's a misunderstanding. It wasn't until after sin entered the world that toil, sweat, and frustration were introduced to work. Work was there before the fall. What changed was not the task, but the conditions under which we now labor. Even in a broken world, though, God did not remove the gift of work. Instead, He allows us to partner with Him, to bring order, creativity, and goodness into the world through the work of our hands. When we begin to understand that work is a calling, not a curse, it transforms how we approach each day. Whether you are a student, a mother, a mechanic, a doctor, or someone searching for direction, your work matters to God. He doesn't separate sacred from secular the way we often do. He doesn't only smile on what happens in churches or on mission fields. He looks at the heart behind the action. He sees a man fixing pipes with integrity, a woman teaching children with patience, a cashier offering kindness to strangers, and He is glorified in it. There is a deeper joy in knowing that our jobs are not just tasks to get through or obligations to survive, but opportunities to reflect the character of our Creator. Just as God worked in creation and declared it good, we are made in His image to be creators, builders, nurturers, and problem solvers. We work because He works. We create because He creates. And when we do it with purpose, with love, and with a desire to honor Him, it becomes worship. So if you've been feeling lost, wondering if your life has meaning because your work seems small or unnoticed, hear this truth. Your work has worth. You were made to contribute, not to drift. You were designed to build, not just to exist. You are not forgotten in the eyes of God simply because you don't stand on a stage or wear a title that impresses the world. What matters most is not what you do, but that you do it as unto the Lord. And in that, your work becomes holy again. In a world that measures success by titles, recognition, and applause, it's easy to believe that only those with visible influence are truly making a difference. But God does not measure worth the way we do. He sees the heart, the motive, the quiet faithfulness behind the scenes. While the world praises those in the spotlight, heaven watches the one who serves quietly, diligently, with no audience but God Himself. This is where true greatness is found, not in being known, but in being faithful. Think about the widow who gave 2 small coins at the temple. In the eyes of the crowd, her offering was insignificant, but in the eyes of Jesus, it was greater than all the rest. She gave from her heart, not for applause, but out of devotion. Her story was recorded for eternity, not because of the amount she gave, but because of the spirit in which she gave it. That's how God sees all of life. He notices the faithful acts no one else sees. There are people who will never stand behind a pulpit or write a book, but they walk into an office each day with integrity. They raise children with love and patience. They care for the sick. They encourage others quietly, and they do it all with a heart that seeks to honor God. That faithfulness matters. It echoes in eternity, even if it goes unnoticed by people. What you do when no one is watching reveals who you truly are. And God is watching, not to judge or criticize, but because He cares deeply. Every small act done in love becomes a part of something far greater than we can see. Jesus washed feet. The King of Kings, with a towel in His hand, served those who would soon abandon Him. He didn't need attention to feel significant. He found purpose in obedience. That same heart should define our work. Whatever you've been assigned to do it with all your heart, as working for the Lord. Your worth is not tied to your position. Your purpose is not defined by how many people know your name. It is found in knowing you are serving the one who knows every detail of your life. When you work in faithfulness, even in the ordinary, you are part of God's extraordinary plan. A nurse who holds the hand of the suffering, a teacher who stays late to help a struggling student, a factory worker who prays quietly over their co-workers, a father who sacrifices daily for his family. All of these, though unseen by the crowd, are precious to God. He sees you, He values you, and He is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him. So don't be discouraged if no one claps for you. Heaven is already rejoicing over your quiet obedience. The eyes of the Lord roam the earth, looking for hearts fully devoted to Him. Be found faithful. That is where significance truly lives. The way you live and the way you work are not separate in the eyes of God. Every task, every conversation, every decision you make in your workplace carries the potential to speak louder than any sermon ever preached. You may not have a pulpit, but you have a platform. You may not wear a robe, but you carry a witness. The world is watching not just for what Christians say, but for how they act when the pressure is on, when no one is applauding, when the choices are hard and the rewards unseen. Your work is not just a means to an end. It is a mission field. The way you show up matters. Are you honest when no one's looking? Do you work with excellence, not just when the boss is watching, but when you're alone? Do you extend grace to those who test your patience? Do you carry peace into environments filled with stress and strife? These are not small things. These are powerful testimonies. People are not always looking for a sermon. They're looking for something real, something different, something that cannot be explained by talent or temperament alone. They're looking for Christ in you, the hope of glory. You don't need to preach a word to reveal the love of God. It's revealed in your kindness when others are cruel. It's revealed in your integrity when shortcuts tempt you. It's revealed in your humility when you could have boasted. It's revealed in your joy, not when things are going well, but when everything is going wrong and yet you still have peace. That's the gospel on display. That's a light in a dark place. That's what draws hearts to God. You may think your job is too ordinary or too far removed from ministry to matter, but there are people in your life that a preacher will never reach. They will never step into a church, but they work beside you, talk to you at lunch, sit across from you in meetings, and through you, they see what grace looks like. Through your life, they hear the quiet whisper of hope. When you live your faith with consistency, when your words and your actions match, that is a testimony no one can ignore. The Apostle Paul wrote that whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus. That means everything you do at work has eternal value when done for His glory. Your work ethic, your attitude, your patience, your compassion, they're all sermons in action. And for someone watching, they might be the only Bible they ever read. So keep shining, even when no one acknowledges it. Keep serving, even when no one thanks you, because your work is your witness. And when it's done in love and truth, it carries the power to change not just hearts, but eternities. So many people today are walking through life with a quiet ache, trying to prove their worth through what they do. They chase titles, achievements, and recognition, hoping that somewhere along the way they'll feel like they matter. But here's the truth the world won't tell you. You are not what you do. You are not your job. You are not your resume. You are not your failures. And you are not your successes. You are whose you are. Your identity does not begin with your occupation. It begins with your Creator. Long before you ever picked up a tool, sat at a desk, walked into a classroom, or clocked into a shift, God already knew you. He formed you, loved you, and called you His own. You were made in His image. That is where your value begins, and nothing in this world can add to it or take it away. If you build your identity on your work, then when work is taken away, you'll feel like your life is too. That's why people fall apart when they lose a job or retire or fail in their career, because they were never told that their worth is not built on the ground beneath them, but on the rock that never moves. Jobs change, circumstances change, but the love of God never does. In Christ, you are a child of God, not a slave to performance, not a product of your paycheck, but an heir of eternal purpose. Even Jesus, during His time on earth, was identified by others as the carpenter's son. But He knew His identity came from the Father above. That's why He could serve in humility and speak with authority. That's why He wasn't moved by the opinions of crowds or the rejection of men. He was rooted in who He was, not what He did. When you understand this, everything shifts. You can stop striving for approval because you already have it in God. You can stop comparing yourself to others because your race is not theirs to run. You can show up to your job, no matter how routine or unnoticed it may feel, with confidence and peace, knowing you are living from identity, not for identity. This also frees you to fail without being defined by failure. You can try, you can risk, you can dream, because your foundation is secure. Your job may provide for you, but it does not define you. Your title may describe your role, but it does not describe your soul. You are God's workmanship, created for good works, prepared in advance for you to do, not to earn His love, but because of it. So if you feel lost today, trying to figure out who you are in the chaos of expectations and responsibilities, hear this: you are not lost. You are seen, you are chosen, you are loved. Your true identity is not found in your position in the world, but in your position in Christ. And that truth will never change. Every day, God places His people in places and positions that may seem ordinary or even difficult, but they are never accidental. The workplace, the marketplace, the office, the factory, the classroom, the home, these are not just places where we earn a living, they are mission fields. God sends His children into every sphere of life not only to do a job, but to be His ambassadors, His light in a world that often feels dark and disconnected from hope. When you think about your daily routine, it can be easy to wonder if it really matters. You may feel like your efforts are unnoticed, or that the people around you don't understand your values or your faith. But remember, God is the one who placed you there for a reason. You have been chosen to shine His light, to speak truth through your actions, and to reflect His love in your words and deed. Your workplace is a mission field because people are watching, not just your co-workers, but also your friends, family, and even strangers. They see how you respond under pressure, how you treat others when no one's looking, and how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. These moments are opportunities to show a love that goes beyond mere job descriptions and performance review. Your kindness, integrity, and patience can be powerful testimonies that open hearts and minds to the hope you carry. You don't need a pulpit or a microphone to be a minister. Every conversation you have, every choice you make, every smile you offer can be a ministry moment. When you approach your work with a heart devoted to God, you transform ordinary tasks into acts of worship. You become a living example of God's kingdom on earth. Your daily work becomes a way to glorify God and to point others toward Him. Even when the job is tough, when the hours are long, or when the work feels monotonous, remember that you are part of a bigger story. God is using you to bring His light into places where darkness tries to prevail. Your faithfulness matters. Your obedience matters. Your presence matters. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or insignificant in your work, remember that you are not just working for a paycheck or for human approval. You are serving a higher purpose. You are a missionary in the marketplace, a witness in the workplace, and a servant of God wherever you go. This perspective will change how you see your work forever, turning every task into a calling and every day into an opportunity to make a difference for eternity. When you see your work as only temporary, something to get through until the weekend or retirement, it's easy to lose heart and wonder if what you do really matters. But what if the way you see your work is missing something crucial? What if the tasks you do every day, no matter how routine or small, are part of an eternal purpose? When you understand that your work is not just about today, but also about eternity, your whole perspective changes. Every job, every duty, every responsibility can be an opportunity to glorify God. When you work with excellence, honesty, and love, you reflect the character of your Creator. You show the world what God is like, not just through words, but through actions. This is how your ordinary tasks become extraordinary. The laundry, the paperwork, the meetings, the cleaning, the customer service. These are not meaningless chores. They are opportunities to serve God and others with a joyful heart. The Apostle Paul encouraged believers to do everything as if they were working for the Lord, not for human masters. This means your work, done with the right heart, carries eternal value. It is not just about the paycheck or the promotion. It is about obedience and worship. When you understand this, you can face even the hardest days with purpose and hope. You may never see the full impact of your work on this side of eternity. Some seeds take years to grow, and some efforts seem to go unnoticed. But God sees. He records every act of faithfulness, every moment of perseverance, and every sacrifice made in His name. Your labor is not in vain. It matters to Him deeply. This eternal perspective also frees you from the temptation to compare yourself with others or measure your worth by worldly standards. Whether you work in a high-profile job or behind the scenes, whether you lead or serve, whether you receive recognition or remain unseen, your work is valuable when done for God's glory. So no matter how lost you feel today, no matter how small or insignificant your tasks seem, remember that you are part of God's grand story. Your work has eternal meaning. When you offer it to God, He transforms it and uses it for His purposes. This understanding will change how you see your work forever, giving you joy, peace, and a deep sense of purpose, even in the most ordinary moments. As we come to the close of this message, I want to remind you that feeling lost in life or in your work does not mean you are without purpose. God has placed you exactly where you are for a reason. Your work is not a burden, but a calling. Your faithfulness, even in the smallest tasks, matters deeply to Him. Your identity is not tied to what you do, but to who you are in Him. And the place where you work every day is a mission field where your life can shine as a witness to God's love. When you begin to see your work through the lens of eternity, your daily efforts take on new meaning and power. So hold on to this truth. You are seen, you are valued, and you are loved by the Creator of the universe. Keep walking faithfully, no matter how ordinary or challenging your work may seem. Your life and your labor are part of a greater story that only God can write, and that story has eternal significance. Thank you for opening your heart to these words today. May you go forward with courage, peace, and a renewed sense of purpose in all that you do. Good luck as you embrace your calling with joy and confidence. Remember, you are never lost when you are found in God.